Namaskar, Hare Krishna. I'm Basu Ghoṣa Dāsa, presently serving in ISKCON, India, as the General Secretary of the ISKCON India Governing Council, known as the Bureau. Also Regional Secretary for ISKCON in Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. So, as a way of introduction, I don't have a regular podcast, but I do have a YouTube channel, and I'm also a member of the ISKCON India Scholars Board, which, through my own efforts back in 2013, when I was chairman of then ISKCON India Advisory Committee, which is now called the ISKCON Bharat Advisory Committee. We created this group of scholars, particularly on the issue of women dīkṣā-gurus. I'm recording this today in response to my senior godbrother, His Holiness Hridayananda Das Goswami Maharaj, who I've known for almost 52 years, but it's almost 53 years, since 1973, when I joined in Chicago. Of course, he had joined several years earlier, and I guess he's a few years older than me. Well, I'm not a young man now. I've completed 70 years, so I'm elderly and aged at the present moment. And there's no looking back. So Hridayananda Maharaj, his present position reminds me of a story that one of Śrīla Prabhupāda's godbrothers told me many years ago about Śrīla Prabhupāda's sannyas guru, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj passed away from this world in 1968. So he had given sannyas to Prabhupada in Mathura in 1959, as I recall. That's probably correct. So he was on parikrama in Navadvip, and his elder brother was also a sannyasi who had actually taken sannyas from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj took sannyas from Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, who lived in Prabhupada's house in Calcutta in the early 1940s for a year or two. I don't know the exact timeline. So Odalami Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, his elder brother, had taken off his sannyas dress to become a Babaji, but he wasn't initiated a Babaji by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was initiated as a sannyasi. And Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj disagreed with his having done so. And when they met, by coincidence, on Navadvip Parikrama, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj asked his elder brother, "Where is the dress that Guru Maharaj gave you?" And so I ask Hridayananda Maharaj today, where is the dress that Śrīla Prabhupāda gave you when you took sannyas? Because you're not wearing that dress. You're not wearing the neck beads that you got at the time of initiation. You're not wearing the tilak. And you are talking about Vaiṣṇavi, women devotee. But a devotee, we all who are initiated by Prabhupada know very well that every morning after taking a bath, we apply tilak to 12 places on our body. We were mandated at the time of initiation to wear the tulsi kanti mala. The kant is the neck in Sanskritam. What happened to all that? That's my first question to Hridayananda Maharaj. Moving forward on the question of women dīkṣā-gurus, Hridayananda Maharaj recently made 2 videos on the subject. And I particularly watched the second video where he says again and again and again that Prabhupada never said women could not be dīkṣā-gurus. Women can be dīkṣā-gurus. And that reminds me of the Hermann Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, who was quoted as saying, if you tell a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. So I want to read transcription here, part of a transcription of a lecture Śrīla Prabhupāda gave at Los Angeles on September 22nd, 1972, on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, text number 17. Quote, woman, they are generally equipped with the qualities of passion and ignorance, and a man may also be, but man can be elevated to the platform of goodness. Woman cannot be, woman cannot be. Therefore, if the husband is nice and the woman follows, woman becomes faithful and chaste to the husband, then their both life becomes successful. There are three qualities of nature, sattva, raja, and tama. So rajas, tama, generally that is the quality of woman. And man can come to the platform of goodness. Therefore, initiation, Brahminical symbolic representation, is given to the man, not to the woman. This is the theory. So Prabhupada clearly said in this lecture that a woman cannot take initiation. So if a woman cannot take initiation, how can she become a dīkṣā-guru? So I guess Hridayananda Maharaj missed that lecture, or he doesn't want to consider it. And maybe if he did consider it, he would make some fanciful interpretation using sophistry, which he is quite expert at. After all, he has a PhD from Harvard. In a lecture during a sannyāsa initiation in Mayapur on March 16th, 1976, Prabhupada stated, so guru is the post given to the sannyasis, to the brahmanas. Without becoming a brahmana, nobody can become a sannyasi. And sannyasi is supposed to be the guru of all the ashrams. It's a guru of all the ashrams and all the varnas. So the preaching work, we require so many sannyasis, quote unquote. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the purport to Canto 3, Chapter 24, Text 40, Prabhupada wrote, a woman is not supposed to take sannyas. So-called spiritual societies concocted in modern times give sannyas even to women, although there is no sanction in the Vedic literature for a woman's accepting sannyas. Otherwise, if it were sanctioned, Kardama Muni could have taken his wife and given her sannyas. The woman must remain at home, unquote. So when Prabhupada forbids a woman from becoming a sannyasi, absolutely clear, not at all vague, straightforward. And then we heard his lecture from Mayapur, where he says only a sannyasi can be a guru, or a Brahman can be a guru, and a woman cannot be a sannyasi or a Brahman because she can't have the thread. How can she become a dīkṣā-guru? So the question arises, well, Prabhupada gave second initiation to women. Nobody can deny that. The explanation is simple. He made an adjustment. He did not give them the thread, but because he established the worship of the deities, the Sri Vigrahas, all over the Western world where there were no sannyasis and Brahmins, so he needed the women to help in the deity worship. So I know this is going to be challenged by some, but it's a practical consideration that he, as a great acharya, could do. But we are not on the same level as Śrīla Prabhupāda, so we cannot do that. And then, Hridayananda Maharaj used sophistry to deny what Prabhupada wrote in his purport to the Bhagavatam 4:12-32, where Prabhupada wrote, according to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between śikṣā-guru and dīkṣā-guru. And generally, the śikṣā-guru later on becomes the dīkṣā-guru. Suniti, however, being a woman, and specifically his mother could not become Dhruva Maharaj's dīkṣā-guru. Now, specifically his mother, Hridayananda Maharaj, said that's the real import of this sentence. So he has an agenda, and that's the feminist agenda, that gender equality. But here, Prabhupada makes clear distinctions between śikṣā-guru and dīkṣā-guru, and being a woman is a clarification. Specifically, his mother is also a clarification. But Diksha means the Brahmin thread. It means the Yagnopavit Sanskar. And in that connection, Prabhupada wrote a purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 46. The spiritual master is also called Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. The Manu Samhita 2:140 explains the duties of an Acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts charge of disciples, teaches them the Vedic knowledge with all its intricacies, and gives them their second birth. The ceremony performed to initiate a disciple into the study of spiritual science is called Upaniti, or the function that brings one nearer to the spiritual master. One who cannot be brought nearer to the spiritual master cannot have a sacred thread, and thus he is indicated to be a Shudra. The sacred thread on the body of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya is the symbol of initiation by the spiritual master. It is worth nothing if worn merely to boast of high parentage. The duty of the spiritual master is to initiate a disciple with the sacred thread ceremony. And after this samskara or purificatory process, the spiritual master actually begins to teach the disciple about the Vedas. He actually teaches them the Veda mantras. A person born a Shudra is not barred from such spiritual initiation, provided he is approved by the spiritual master, who is duly authorized to award a disciple the right to be a Brahmana, if he finds him perfectly qualified. In the Vayu Purana, an Acharya is defined as one who knows the import of all the Vedic literatures, abides by their rules and regulations, and teaches his disciples to act in the same way. So here in this purport, again, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 46, Prabhupada clearly says that initiation is the sacred thread. So he did not give that to women. He considered women on the level of Shudras, but not only Prabhupada. There is all Vaishnava sampradāyas, the men are the gurus. Ramanuja sampradāya, Madhva sampradāya, Nimbark sampradāya, Vallabha sampradāya. All these four Vaishnava sampradāyas, women are Guru Patni at the most, the wife of the Guru. They are not the Guru. Sandipani Muni in the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 45, text 33 and 34, it describes what Sandipani taught to Krishna and Balaram. It's the same subject matter that's mentioned in this purport, but Upanishads, Vedas, Vedangas. And in order to study the Vedic literature, one has to become a Dvija, a twice-born, by getting the Yagnopavit Sanskar, which is not given to women. Therefore, women cannot take initiation and they cannot be Diksha-guru. They can be śikṣā-guru, they can be Pata-pradarshaka-guru. That's also in the 4:12:32 Suniti purport. But they cannot be Diksha-guru. Janava is taken as an example. Was Janava a Diksha-guru? If we take what we call first initiation in ISKCON, which in the Gaudiya Math they call Harinam, then maybe Janava gave Harinam, but she did not, she followed the Varnashram principles. She did not wear a sacred thread. The goddess Saraswati does not wear a sacred thread, and she's the goddess of learning. Lakshmi Devi does not wear the sacred thread. Vishnu wears the sacred thread. Krishna wears the sacred thread. So, Hridayananda Maharaj, with all due respect to his seniority, is in his videos is misleading our movement. He's misleading, he's ignoring these quotations. These are straightforward in Prabhupada's books. Straightforward. And he's saying Prabhupada never said a woman can't be a guru. Well, here you have it. You also have it, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 15, text 108, where it says that in the translation from the Bengali, initiation is not required for liberation. The holy name alone is sufficient. And in the purport, Prabhupada describes the system of initiation. He never wrote a separate book on the system of initiation. And in that purport, he writes, it is the sacred thread. Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activities. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as Diksha. The regulative principles of Diksha are explained in Hari Bhakti Vilas 2.3-4 and the Bhakti Sandarbha 283. As stated, now I'll skip the Sanskrit because of time considerations and read the English translation. Even though born in a Brahmana family, one cannot engage in Vedic rituals without being initiated and having a sacred thread. Although born in a Brahmin family, one becomes a Brahmana only after initiation and the sacred thread ceremony. So here you have it. And here, one more interesting sentence, unless one is initiated as a Brahmana, one cannot worship the holy name properly. According to Vaishnava regulative principles, one must be initiated as a Brahmana. So Prabhupada's philosophy, Vedic philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, is that women have to serve their husbands, women have to remain in the home. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:18, 33 and 34. I'll skip the Sanskrit and read the translation of Prabhupada. A husband is the supreme demigod for a woman. The supreme personality of Godhead Lord Vasudeva, the husband of the goddess of fortune, is situated in everyone's heart and is worshipped through the various names and forms of the demigods by fruity workers. Similarly, a husband represents the Lord as the object of worship for a woman. So, womanly life, according to the Vedic concept, Sri Dharma, in 1st canto, 9th chapter, text 27, Raja Dharman, Dharma Dharman, Raja Dharman, Dhana Dharman, Moksha Dharman, Vibhagashaha, Sri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman, Samasa Vyasa Yogataha. This is the shloka. Sri Dharman, the duties of women, are separate from Varnashram duties of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. This reminds me of another senior sannyasi, guru, GBC, member of the Bureau Godbrother, who in a lecture 2-3 days ago said, and it's just shocking, that Krishna didn't instruct Arjuna to be a Kshatriya. Mind-boggling. Bhagavad Gita, he's referring to Bhagavad Gita. Krishna instructed him to be a devotee, not to be a Kshatriya. But that is incorrect. It is incorrect. Again and again, he's telling Arjuna to fight. Sukhinaha Kshatriya Partha Labante Yudhamidrisham. That Kshatriya is happy who gets an opportunity to fight. And he tells him, Tasmad Tvamutishta Yashola Bhasva Jitva Shatrum, get up and conquer your enemies, which is a fight to fight. Tasmad Tvamutishta Yashola Bhasva Jitva Shatrum, conquer your enemies. Bhungshva Rajyam Samriddham. Te evaite nihitav purvameva. Nimitta matra bhava savyasachin. Be my instrument as a Kshatriya. The next verse is Dronam cha Bhishram cha Bhishmam cha Jayadrattam cha. All of these enemies of yours will be killed. I've already killed them. You fight. Yudhyasva madanusmaran. Fight thinking of me. Because you are a Kshatriya. Sahajam karma kaunteya. Sadosham api nat tyajet. The qualities you are born with. You are born with abhijatosi bharata. You were born with these qualities. What I see here is ideological contamination due to feminism. Modern feminism is teaching that men and women are equal. And Prabhupada was confronted with this time and again and said on the spiritual platform, men and women are equal. But we are not on the spiritual platform. If you pretend to be on the topmost platform, but you're just a sadhaka, you become a sahajiya, a cheater, pretending to be on the topmost platform. So it's dangerous to pretend to be on the topmost platform. And someone give up sadhana, like Vamsidas Babaji, is very, very rare. Very, very rare. Just like Krishna says in Gita that only 1 in thousands even tries to become perfect. And even out of those thousands who have become perfect, hardly one knows who is Krishna. And by instituting a regular regimen of female dīkṣā-gurus, Vaishnavi dīkṣā-guru, because Madhavi Devi wasn't called a Vaishnavi in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think it's Adi Leela, chapter 10, text 137. She's referred to as a half, being a woman. Now, why was the word woman used for Madhavi Devi and not Vaishnavi? So this word Vaishnavi has been taken up and it's been made into a smokescreen to promote those who are ordinary human beings to the topmost platform. Now, Prabhupada said things like that. All my devotees are pure devotees. But we've seen how many people have come and gone, how many of the original gurus that Prabhupada appointed as ritviks that became gurus. And we have no objection to that because that is the system. Evam parampara praptam. But how many of them fell down? So, just putting on the dress of a Vaishnava, and Hridayananda Maharaj doesn't do that, doesn't make one on the topmost platform. Now, Prabhupada, we believe he was on the topmost platform. He didn't take off the Vaishnava dress. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj didn't take off the Vaishnava dress. And many of the God brothers, and they're still members of the Gaudiya Math, they don't take off the Vaishnava dress even if they're on a higher platform. They're setting an example. Prabhupada put foreign women in saris, put foreign men in dhotis. And why? Because he said it's a Vaikuntha dress. He wanted to create a Vedic society, a Vaishnava society. There are so many instructions. I don't want to take too much time because people don't have a long attention span. That's well known. So I'll end this video here and maybe think about making another one because there are many, many more quotations to prove that Prabhupada wanted to establish Varnashram. Read his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 9:10-50. It's very clear. The entire Varnashram scheme is intended to enable people to become Vaishnavas. Vishnur asya devata. When people worship Lord Vishnu as the Supreme Lord, they become Vaishnavas. Thus, people should be trained to become Vaishnavas through the system of Varna and Ashrama, as they were during the reign of Lord Ramachandra, when everyone was fully trained to follow the Varnashram principles. Recently, the sannyasi guru, GBC bureau member, godbrother, very senior disciple of my guru, our guru, he said, we don't want to make a caste system. Well, in the Gita, Krishna says, I created the Varnashram in 4:13, Chaturvarnam Maya Shrishtam. And his guru, our guru, says that in order to become a Vaishnava, the purpose of Varnashram is to make people Vaishnavas, to make them God conscious. Read Prabhupada's purports. The purports are more important in order of importance as compared to Prabhupada's lectures, conversations, and letters. So these are his instructions for his disciples and for humanity for the next 10,000 years. So Varnashram, you cannot denigrate it by calling it the caste system and be true to the teachings of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Whether you are ABC, GBC, or XYZ, you must accept these instructions to be a real follower of Prabhupada. I've spoken a lot, and I hope the viewers could, maybe you want to watch it again and note down the numbers that I've given. Maybe we can provide the quotes at the end of this instead of interrupting the talk, to prove that Prabhupada did not intend women to be dīkṣā-gurus because it's the function of brahmanas. And he gave Brahman initiation to Malechas and Yavanas like myself and Hridayananda Maharaj and so many other Westerners in order to establish a Varnashram-based society. Maharaj, sannyasi, is a part of the Varnashram dharma. It's one of the ashramas. Grihastha, brahmachari ashram, grihastha ashram, varnaprastha ashram, sannyas ashram. You cannot attack Varnashram as the caste system and say that you are so-and-so Swami and so-and-so Maharaj belonging to the sannyas ashram. It's hypocrisy. So, sorry, I didn't want to make this so passionate. Please, with a dispassionate mind, a cool head, read these purports and find out for yourself. Prabhupada never intended for women to be dīkṣā-gurus. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.